I posted my last video back in May of 2021. I had a lot of ideas to make this channel grow, and really, my goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. And I had all these big plans, these big aspirations, what I wanted to do for the channel, but I had life happen to me, and I had to take a long hiatus. And that's what this video is for. I just created a video explaining what I'm going to be doing on my channel moving forward, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys. But the purpose of this video is to kind of share with you guys, without going into great detail, where I've been for the past 9 months, eight and a half to 9 months, and why I've been gone. And this is going to be a very hard video for me. I've tried to come back and kind of do this video I thought I was going to do this at the end of summer. It didn't work out. I tried again in September, October. It didn't work out. And life got crazy around November, December. I couldn't do it. So I figured, okay, 2022, January, I can come back and explain to you guys. Let's go. And then we have like one of the biggest snowstorms we've ever had in January. Not once, but twice. And so I've been working crazy hours at work. I just couldn't get around to it. And so here we are in February. And I'm finally able to do this. But I'm sweating as I'm doing this because I know what I have to say, but I just don't know how to say it. So I'm going to go back to 2021 and kind of explain what happened and why I took a long break and why I struggled to come back to YouTube. And one of the reasons is I struggled, and I've been struggling, and currently I'm struggling with really bad grief, depression, and PTSD. And if anyone has ever dealt with these situations, you know how difficult it is to do anything. I never fully understood PTSD. I understood grief, I understand depression. I've had that kind of stuff before in the past, and I'm usually really good with dealing with that kind of stuff. But PTSD is a whole nother level of a situation. And like people from the military that are struggling with PTSD, I fully understand why they do the things they do. I'm going to explain why I'm struggling with PTSD and grief, and it all stems back at the beginning of 2021. So in February of last year, so a year ago, my wife and I found out that we were pregnant. And man, we've been struggling to have kids for a long time. And so when we found out we were pregnant, it was pretty awesome. We lost our first child back in 2018, a very early stage at 8 weeks. And so this was a little nerve-wracking for us. We were very scared, and any little thing that was wrong, we would, be going to the hospital, and we had a couple scares, but everything turned out to be okay. And we made it past the 8-week mark, and we thought we were good. So we went into the second trimester. We were good. We were excited. We started looking at furniture, kind of switching our room around and preparing ourselves for the baby and saving up money because, buying all that stuff is very expensive, and we don't have anything for a baby. So we were really in that mode where we were kind of prepping for the baby because we were deep into the second trimester here, and we were at that point getting really excited. Coming to the end of May, my wife is 18 and a half weeks pregnant, and I was working like a normal day. It's a normal Saturday. Came home, and everything was normal. And then my wife was kind of keeled over in a lot of pain. And we had a scare like this before, so I was kind of like, oh my gosh, we have to go to the hospital again. Everything takes forever. But we had my son, my 13-year-old son, and so we dropped him off at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and so we drove to the hospital, and the much pain that my wife was in, I instantly kind of had a feeling what was happening. But, I'm one of those people, I try to stay hopeful until I know what the heck's going on, and we've had this situation before, so I was like, maybe things will be turning out okay. But things progressively got worse as we drove to the hospital, and when we got there, because of COVID, they separated us, and she was basically in a lot of severe pain. And when we finally saw the doctor, we were still separated. And I was like, I want to see my wife. And I finally came to the room. The doctor checked her out, and we found out she was 3 centimeters dilated. And the doctor said, "I'm so sorry, you're going to lose your child. You're going to lose his pregnancy." And my heart sank. Because we thought everything was going to be okay. Checked the heartbeat, he's fine. Perfectly healthy, very, very strong heartbeat. And I was just praying to God, asking to God, why? Why are we going to lose our child? I don't understand. I don't know if you guys know anything about pregnancy, but when a woman is dilated, that's basically means your cervixes open up, and there's nothing you can do at that point. It was a Saturday, and we were there, and we were pretty much monitored all night. We thought she was going to go in labor that night, but she didn't. I just kept on praying as hard as I can, talking to God, praying to God to please give us a miracle, save my baby, save our baby. I will give anything, and I mean anything, to save our child. I believe praying is very powerful. Everybody that knew us, all my friends and family were praying for us. And I've never prayed so hard in my life, guys. I've never prayed so hard for anyone or anything. I want my baby so much. In the end, our prayers weren't strong enough. We were in the hospital for 3 days. And my wife gave labor 2:30 in the morning to our son. He was born alive. Lived for about 7 minutes. And I never knew how much I could have loved somebody that quickly. We held him all night, all morning. I got a book I read to him, and he gave she said, Daddy's going to read to you. And he gave one last gasp of breath before he passed. But we just held him after that. Couldn't let go of him. My wife had to go into surgery after that because she was bleeding really bad, and it didn't occur to me at the time, but I could have lost her that day too. She was bleeding so much. And I could have lost my baby and my wife all at once that same day. But I did have a blessing, though. We were in the hospital for 3 days, and that gave us time with our baby. And I think that was the prayers that God answered. I was really, really not understanding why that God took our baby. Even though we prayed as hard as we could, everyone prayed as hard as they could. So I'm kind of struggling with my faith a little bit. I know God is not bad. God is good all the time. I just don't understand why my baby had to die. And when I held him in my hand, I just kept on telling him about our family, his brother, his cousins, his mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, on both sides. I told him about the entire family while my wife was in surgery. And I got real close to him and I said, I'm so sorry that we couldn't save you. And if I had a choice, I would gladly take my life in exchange for yours, for you can live. And the last thing I said to him was that you didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to die. The blessing that I was talking about before he passed, that we had 3 days with him in the hospital, Got to spend time with him. They monitored his heartbeat. His heartbeat was strong the entire time. And the night that he passed, a couple hours before, at 11 o'clock, I was sleeping because I was just exhausted. And the nurse came in and checked his heartbeat once again. And I don't know why, but I woke up right when she was doing it. I heard his heartbeat one last time. And I think that was God's blessing. That I was able to hear my son's heartbeat one last time before he died. And I had no idea at the time. We were hoping we could just hold him in there, be in the hospital as long as we needed to, save his life. We were willing to do whatever it took. In the end, couldn't save him. And I'm struggling with PTSD and grief. Well, now you know the grief part, but I fully understand what PTSD is now. Because everything I do reminds me of him. I relive that nightmare each and every day. And it would be the stupidest things that will trigger it. And it will just knock the wind out of me. Knock me down into my knees. And I can't get up. I struggle to walk. I struggle to breathe. It's like I'm stuck underwater. But every once in a while, someone gives me a breath of fresh air, just keep me alive, then shoves me back underwater. So this past year, I've been really struggling, really suffering, and I couldn't come back to YouTube. I just couldn't. There is nothing worse in this world than losing a child. Nothing. I had COVID back in November. That was easy. There was nothing in comparison to losing my son. My wife and I experienced a lot of loss in our day, losing grandparents, a niece, and now our second baby. Should be a family of 5, and now we're still only a family of 3. We have 2 children in heaven, and I'm not gonna lie, it destroyed me. It's currently destroyed me. There are days I don't even know how I'm moving forward. So I get hyper focused on other things, like we're trying to get out of debt before we can eventually move out of this apartment and get a house and maybe even adopt, because I don't know. My wife and I are really struggling. We don't know if we can really bear to get pregnant again, because we're going to be scared to death when it happens. It's hard to see other people have their babies, get pregnant, have successful pregnancies, but I don't wish that upon anybody. I'm excited when people are successfully have their babies with them. And there's been a lot of people that I've known that gave birth to their children after I lost our son. And it hurts. It really hurts. It's getting easier. Not really getting easier, but it's getting a little bit better, I guess. 9 months out, I'm still don't know who I am anymore. Don't know what I want to do. All I'm doing is working and trying our best to be there for our son and be there for our family. And I think we're trying to see the good in it, I guess. And there's a couple things that we want to do to honor our son. We did get him cremated. We have his urn over there. We made a little memorial for him, and we named him Dexter, which is a beautiful name. I really love that name. So to my son Dexter, and my daughter also that's in heaven. I don't want anybody to forget him, and I want to honor him every single day. So I'm going to be announcing right here, right now. There is a wonderful organization that's been helping us every step of the way that helps with grieving parents and child loss. And I kind of want to give back to them whenever we get out of debt and our life, we can spare some money to really help donate for them. But I think to honor my son is I'm going to do what I can. And I think what I want to do is to create a second YouTube channel that's going to be strictly just podcast and kind of just talk about things like this, because I want to bring more awareness to child and infant loss, because it's one of those things that no one really likes to talk about. and I understand why. But I want to create a safe place for grieving parents, siblings, children, everybody, for they can talk and share their stories. I'll share my story, our story. I didn't share I didn't go into great detail of what happened. I just kind of give you the highlights, but kind of talk about the financial side of things. So it's going to be kind of a financial channel as well. And it's going to be called the Unimaginables Podcast. It's something that I felt God is calling me to do. I think maybe the reason why we lost our son is so we can help out as many people as possible. And I want to share a lot of people's stories if they allow me to, and kind of just talk about things kind of in this format where I'm just kind of just sitting here talking and get you guys involved. I don't know when I'm going to start it. I'm probably not going to start it for a little while because I need time. We're coming up on 1 year anniversary of our son already. Since we lost him, it was June 1st. So we're struggling with that. It's going to get harder as we get closer, but I feel the best way to really grieve and really, kind of help us along with this is just to talk about it. And what better way to do it is than through a podcast. And I'm hoping maybe it'll help out at least one person. And maybe we can donate some money to some great organizations and charities out there if you guys know any. And I have a huge passion for this now, and I feel like it's what God's calling me to do. So I think that is what I'm going to be doing. So along with my main channel, I'm also going to be doing a second channel that's not gaming related at all, and kind of hope you guys join me for the ride too. And I hope to God, I don't wish this upon anybody. No parent should ever have to bury their child, have to cremate their child, or lose their child in any way. The fact that I almost lost my wife, that could have been alone right now, that would have ended me. So I just want to honor my son, honor my daughter, honor my wife, honor everybody else who experienced this, and I want to give back. I want to help out as many people as possible. So hope you guys join me for the ride. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description. I don't really have anything on it right now, but if you want to subscribe to it and really, that way you're ready when content goes up. So I'm finally ready to talk about it. And so I hope I can help you guys. Thanks for listening.